I think that that works to demonstrate how important it is that we maintain the relationships with our allies. Over the last 8 years, we certainly haven't done that. Everything from our relationship with the UK, which has just gone to trash, to our relationship, frankly, with the Israelis. I mean, I think that, we know that the United States government and the Obama administration tried to intervene in Israeli elections. We know that we treated them basically like trash, and we've supported, I think, some terrorist organizations at the expense of Israel, and it's really, really concerning. For the first time in my lifetime, it feels like America is not on the right side of history. It feels like we're not on the right side of these conflicts. And when we start turning our backs on allies like Israel and the United Kingdom and all of these other Western countries, and we start advocating on behalf of terrorist organizations like the Iranians, it's really, really scary. And when you look at Syria with the red line, we told the Syrians, we told the rebels there, we said, in the event that the Syrian government engages in genocide, that crosses a red line, and there are going to be repercussions. And you know what? There were no repercussions, because we have a president that does not have a backbone, that doesn't follow through with his promises. And when you're telling allies that you won't stand behind them, when you're telling people that are oppressed and that are being literally gassed by a dictator, that you won't stand behind them and defend them, these are scary times. And this is our government. We are on the wrong, our representatives are on the wrong side of history. I don't mean to get riled up on a Sunday morning. I know you guys are going to church, but this is scary. So I'm thankful that we're heading in a different direction, and I think many of you guys are too. So let's move on to something else. I thought that we have a really exciting time of celebration coming up with the Trump inauguration. I'm going. I know DML is going. I think Scarlett's going as well. And so I can't wait to share that with you guys. It's going to be really, really exciting. I remember when I was with DML on his old show on Newsmax. I remember saying to him, I just cannot wait. I think I said this on there. I cannot wait to make America great again. I cannot wait. And this was in the early days. This is when we just thought that he was going to, clinch the Republican nomination. And I can remember that excitement, and I'm starting to get it again, that we're on the cusp of a great presidency. Somebody that is going to, cut taxes, cut regulations. It's going to get America back to work again. And after 8 years of not doing that, it's really exciting. And so I feel really good about being part of that history. And if you can do it, I know it's hard. I know everybody has work and travel's expensive and all of that. But if you can get there, even look at the thoughtful conversation that takes place on this thread right here. Look at the thoughtful conversations that happen on DML's page every day. You guys are some of the smartest, most thoughtful, careful and listening group of people that I've seen. But that's not how the media portrays us. And so we have to be respectful, to be on our best behavior, because the media, they want to seize on the opportunity to only cover people that are not. And so just that's sort of my appeal. If you can get to Washington, please go. The next is I saw some news that's from abroad, but it's relevant here because we're about to repeal and replace Obamacare. It's going to happen, okay? And the Republicans in the House and Senate are behind it. I think many of the Democrats are behind it. Even the senator from West Virginia, who's a Democrat, he's standing up and he said, in good conscience, I cannot support continuation of Obamacare. So there are dozens of Democrats that I think will cross the party line and come over to support a repeal and replace of Obamacare, because they know that what it's done is it's led to higher costs. It's led to poorer outcomes. You can't keep your doctor. Premiums are through the roof. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. We didn't know what we were going to get. I will admit that I supported it. I was there in the United States Capitol building when it was passed. I thought that it was a great thing. I was wrong. Okay. Okay. And I've paid the price for it. My premiums before I switched were going to be up over 50% this year. I wasn't going to be able to keep my doctor. They were being tossed out of network. So there are real consequences for it. It's affecting millions of Americans. Many of you cannot afford to keep the health care that you have, and so it's a cost problem. And so the news story is that in the UK, which has a nationalized health service called the NHS, the Red Cross has just called it a humanitarian crisis. That's not my word. The Red Cross called the NHS, the conditions in the NHS in Britain, a humanitarian crisis, because there isn't enough money to go around. There aren't enough doctors, and so you have people literally sitting around for days. I will link the article on DML. I'll write something on this so that you guys can see it on DML's site this afternoon, probably around 2 o'clock. And it's really scary because you literally have people that need urgent care that are sitting around not even in a hospital room, not even in an emergency room, in the hallway of a hospital on beds because they don't have enough rooms. They don't have enough capacity in these hospitals. They don't have enough doctors. They don't have enough money. They don't have enough resources, and so people are having to wait days, weeks for critical care that they need. And so they've had to call in the Red Cross to help the NHS do its job. It's a scary time, and that's one of the thoughts for what could come to this country is a national nationalized health service similar to the NHS. So we need to be vigilant. I don't think that is likely under the Trump administration. I think that what he's going to do, from my understanding, working with House Republicans and Democrats, is they're going to keep good things like the pre-existing condition, things that we could agree on. You know, that if you had a pre-existing condition, you could still get health insurance. Everybody's for that. Everybody's for that. There are things that we can come to agreement on. But the individual mandate, I think that's going to go out, you know, which meant that if you didn't carry health insurance, you got some asinine fee from the IRS for not covering health care, or not having health care. Now, for a variety of reasons, that thing's ridiculous. I think that it's ridiculous for the federal government to say that you should buy any product. But we'll put that aside. But I think that he's really going to focus on driving down costs, which should have been our focus all along. You know, and they're going to do that by, as Donald Trump was so maligned in the debates for saying, removing the lines around states. It makes no sense that I'm sitting here in New York. I'm in Lower Manhattan, okay? That over there is New Jersey, okay? New Jersey is just across the river, all right? I cannot buy health insurance from a company that's over there offering. I cannot go to their exchange. I can't go buy it from a company that's there. I can only buy from a company that is licensed and is you know, is based here in New York. That doesn't make any sense. We should have a national market that's not led by the government, that's not led by healthcare.gov, where you can say, yeah, okay, this plan gets me everything that I want. It costs this much. Great. That's what I'm going to have. That's what I'm going to get. That competition, that layer of competition, would make an immediate impact for sure. And it's not just for me up here in New York, you know, looking at New Jersey. It's, you know, for you guys and back home in my home state of South Carolina or in Texas, you know. Yeah, you should be able to buy from a national marketplace just like you could from anything. You know, it would be like if you could only buy toothpaste from Colgate of New York, but I couldn't buy it from Colgate of New Jersey. That doesn't make any sense to have these basically state-based monopolies, which is what's happened. Means that costs are out of control. And so I think that he's going to focus on some of these common sense solutions that won't even take that much time to achieve. And Obamacare is going to be a thing of the past within. I would be shocked if they don't make significant progress on this within the first 100 days. I think that Donald Trump is a guy that's ready to make a deal. You guys know this. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir. This is why I actually go on CNN, is because I have to bring this sort of common sense analysis there, because they're not hearing it otherwise. They're just in this echo chamber where they're hearing the same ideas over and over, which, you know, the line over there would probably be something like, Donald Trump wants to strip healthcare from children. You know, Donald Trump doesn't want, you know, old people to have health insurance. You know, some ridiculous stuff like that. And obviously we all know that that's not true. It's not backed up by the facts. It's not backed up by the plan that he's laid out. And so, you know, I am preaching to the choir a little bit, but I just wanted to bring that up. I wanted to bring up the British NHS because if liberals had their way, that's what we would have. And it's not all bad, you know. And NHS does achieve a lot of things, but one thing it doesn't achieve is better outcomes, and the other thing it doesn't achieve is lowering costs. So, you know, but I think we have the most innovative healthcare system in the world. But we have some of the highest costs, and so if we tackle the cost problem, a lot of this solves itself. A lot of it solves itself. So let's move to the next topic of conversation I had, which I thought was which I thought was appropriate. Donald Trump said that anyone that doesn't want a better relationship with Russia is stupid. And he's right. He's right. Russia is a superpower on this planet that we should be able to get along with. And we should get along with them not because we're fearful of them. No, we should get along with them because they have a sphere of influence on a part of the planet that is significant. And if we are talking to them as friends, if we are negotiating with them, if we are working with them from a position of strength, we should. I mean, they're not all good. They're not. They're not good. Vladimir Putin isn't a good guy. I don't think he is. But if we're negotiating from a position of strength and respect, and mutual respect, they respect us, we respect them. I think that we can achieve a lot. And particularly when you're looking at the Middle East, where they basically are running the show. We have abdicated our foreign policy over the last 8 years in the Middle East. The place has gone to hell. Excuse my language, especially on a Sunday. But the Middle East has gone to hell in the last 8 years. And it's not all Barack Obama's fault, but what is a big problem is the fact that he refused to realize that his policy was failing, and he didn't course correct, and that kills me. For everything from Syria to Iran, and it's not just the course correction that gets me. He's actually made it significantly worse in a couple of respects. And let's take Iraq for one. I'm of the camp that thinks that we should have never been in Iraq. Okay, it kills me that so many Americans lost their lives. It kills me that so many have come back here with PTSD and they're forgotten because our VA sucks. And it kills me that so many children will not grow up without parents because of this war. I think that we should only send people to fight when we absolutely need it, and I don't think that war was necessary, as evidenced by the fact that there weren't any weapons of mass destruction. And I think that that's what Trump says largely as well. But once we were there, we broke it and we owned it, and it kills me that we left so abruptly. We gave them a date, and so what happened was these radicals in Afghanistan and in Iraq waited for us to leave so that they could go and capture up power in a power vacuum. And that is what Republicans said at the time. That's what a lot of moderate Democrats said at the time. And that's what's happened. That's what's happened. That led to us withdrawing from Iraq, led to the rise of ISIS. Full stop. That's what happened. We left. We were a power. We were a source of stability in that country. We left, and ISIS rose. They filled the power vacuum that we left. So the ability for them to mobilize, they have their own currency, their own leadership, their own military, their own training centers. They're looking to. They have their own propaganda and news network. They are radicalizing people across the globe, and we saw, we've seen domestic terrorism in this country, which is from some people that have been radicalized here, some people that were immigrants that came here and radicalized, and they have shot up places. We saw it in San Bernardino, we saw it in Orlando. And so just because a terrorist organization is able to rise to prominence in Iraq doesn't mean that their sphere of influence is limited to Iraq. It is now in this global world. It impacts Western Europe. It impacts the United States. And so it's significant. The second point, beyond Iraq and him creating the power vacuum that led to ISIS, is the Iran deal. And this kills me. It may be even worse, because the Iranians are certainly not good people. The Iranian people might be, but their leadership, that's what I mean. And so what we've seen is that, we've basically capitulated to them. We've given them billions of dollars. We've given them an enormous wealth and flexibility to import new goods. And they've not demonstrated, at least from what I've seen, that they're not interested in pursuing a nuclear weapons program anymore. So what we've done is we've given them, the Iranians, a huge influx of cash. We've taken off a lot of the restrictions that kept them from importing technology that would help them build a nuclear bomb. And I was reading a study recently that now, with the new centrifuges that they're able to import because of the restrictions have been lifted, they could achieve a nuclear weapon within 8 months of restarting the program now, because they have superior technology, they have superior capability, because Obama dropped the restrictions. So he has made it worse. He has made them flush with cash, including American cash, and he's embarrassed us on the world stage, because now we know that any tin pot dictatorship can go around and snatch up Americans, and we'll pay a ransom to the tune of billions of dollars. So that's Obama's policy in the Middle East, which is an unmitigated disaster. So getting back to the other story, and how this is related to it, is the Russians are now basically running the table in the Middle East, and we need to be able to recapture some of that power there, because they're not able to do it on their own. They're not able to do it on their own, and if we leave it to their own devices, we're not going to have a say in who they install as effectively dictators in the Middle East. And so we need to, I agree with Donald Trump, we need to start working with the Russians, not from a position of inferiority, but from a position of we're peers with some mutual respect. But, I think that Donald Trump, if you know anything about him, if you know his ego, he's going to be the big dog at the table. No question about it. No question about it. But he recognizes that if you're going to negotiate with anybody, it has to be from a position of self-respect, or mutual respect. And in conclusion here, and I know we're wrapping up, everybody's got to get to church or lunch or whatever it is. In conclusion, DML, I think, will be back tomorrow. I hope he had a great vacation. I got to catch up with him. We're still working on the studio. It's some exciting news I hope to share really soon on that. If you guys don't have it yet, get the Android app. It's awesome. Still got it over here on this phone. I get the updates. They tell you when the walk and talk's coming. We tell you when there's a big breaking news story. It's invaluable. So if you don't have it yet, go on to the Play Store, play.google.com, or just open the Play Store app on your phone and search for Dennis Michael Lynch. It'll come right up. I have to check on the status of the iOS app, but that should be on the Apple App Store really soon. I cannot wait to share that with you guys too. I'm talking to you guys on an iPhone, so I can't wait to have it on this phone too. And I'm sure I'll see you guys really soon. And look out for that story I'll do on repealing Obamacare later this afternoon. I'm sure it'll be on the website maybe like 2-3 o'clock. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much. It's been great doing this. It's hard. Like I said the other day, it's harder than it looks. Dennis is he's a machine, because he goes an hour with you guys.